Fab Studios presents Figure Action. That one's me.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Figure Action crew?
They can't answer you, Jordan.
I got like I am your father, and then I shut out. They can't answer me. What, am I not coming in?
No, they just
That's
can't.
Because they
can't vocally.
Well, they can answer me in the chat.
They can chat. Yeah, please chat. Just tell Jordan. Tell
You
Jordan
pulled it
he needs to hear it from you.
Yeah.
Search.
Well, when Matt pulls an Animaniacs on you,
that can mean so many things, though.
Anyway, if you are hanging out with us live on YouTube, you can search your feelings in the chat. If you're hanging out with us live on YouTube, you can pop into that chat. We're going to be talking about our favorite and our least favorite figures of the year, and we're going to want to hear from you all in the audience tonight. And before you, as you're doing that, make sure you give us a like. Kielbasa slam that like button. If you're not already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. This coming Wednesday, I am going to announce a contest for a Figure Action hoodie. And if you're looking for a last-minute Christmas gift, you can head over to our Teespring, teespring.com. Look up the Fab Shop. We've got all kinds of great designs there made by one Joe Crab. They're some of the cheapest podcasting-related merch on the web. Show support for us, helps us out, and look good doing it, and makes a great gift. So, yeah, this is going to be our last show of 2020. What a year.
Last scheduled show, we'll say that. No, we don't know what'll happen.
Yeah, last scheduled show.
We're feeling in the mood. We may end up going live with something. Maybe we get good Christmas presents we want to share. That was creepy. That was very
Masterpiece RC.
Maybe we want to bitch about Masterpiece RC.
Masterpiece RC is yeah.
Somebody said
coming out. So yeah, maybe we might have. Damn, really? I haven't heard anything from Amazon Japan.
Sony, I think
he can hear you.
Yeah, Sony said what?
It is shipped already.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Speaking of TM reviews, I reached out to him today to do a collection showcase video. So I've got to dust off my shelves and get that filmed. So be on the lookout for that. Make sure you check out TM reviews, and I'll probably have an announcement when that goes up. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's kick things off. Starting off with a man you know, you love, and whose videos you've probably clicked on. Kato has Kato. You definitely should get that Dave mask from the Fab Shop. But starting off with a man you know, you love, and you've probably clicked on some of his videos. Mr. T-Man 978. How the hell are you? And did you get anything cool this week?
I'm doing good. I just bought this Darth Vader on a whim. I didn't know whether he had a new body or not. I'm going to assume it's new because he has elbows that bend over 90 degrees, and it looks like he has butterfly joints. And I'm pretty sure anything before last year wouldn't have had butterfly joints.
What Vader is that?
The one in the new box.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. Well done.
But he's stiff just as Darth Vaders typically are. He does have the butterfly joint, but yeah. And he does have a bulge in his neck.
For what it's worth.
Yeah. And the torso. Yeah. But he does have a lot of capes going on up under here, which is cool. Besides that, I did get this Green Ranger finally, the single pack one. And he is awesome. His articulation seems to be better than the other ones because his belt isn't glued to his body, so I can push that ab crunch way further than any other figure. Besides that, so Dave, he could shut up finally because I picked this thing up. And
nice.
What else? I got something else when I Well, I bought a regular, which happens to be, where is it? Should be right beside me. Yeah. I think I showed this last week.
Yeah, you did.
And I think it's in my coat pocket, but I got Kingdom Rat Trap, which I may have shown last week too. I did pick up this Stormtrooper for discounts with GameStop.
I want to know, like, I will watch that chill review, but what do you think of the shoulders on that rat trap?
I don't have a massive problem with it. Hold on.
You didn't leave it at work, did you? So, you know what? I can't help but notice this never happens on his channel. I'm just saying, like, he's usually got his shit together on his channel.
I'm here. Well, I dropped this in the middle of the hallway, apparently, the gun. But
that's Darth Vader's rifle, yeah.
It's this dude's rifle. Rat Trap is in my jacket pocket. I don't have a problem too much with the shoulders. Because of the way his body is designed, it seemed like they always stay in the right place aesthetically, and you can kind of get a butterfly movement out of it, which I like. But I think besides that, I think I showed everything else last week. I did get some M&Ms, which I'll probably be eating throughout the night.
But will that cause you, stomach problems later in the evening? The M&Ms.
Maybe in the middle of the night. It'll be fun.
If
Sportimus
it
has
does,
just saved the world with his presence.
oh, good. If you do end up getting any kind of stomach distress from the M&Ms later in the evening, could you do a chill review of your stomach problems? Like, you could be a late night upload too.
That would be hilarious.
That's why I'm suggesting it. See, I'm trying to add some varied content to your channel. You have the toy hunts and the toy reviews and the chill moments, but this would be a chill bathroom break.
It probably wouldn't be a lot of verbal. Well, it wouldn't be stuff with words. It would just be me cringing in pain, praying.
Yeah, but there's not a whole lot of editing with that.
Back and
That
forth.
should be a quick video.
Yeah, you just add like the voice inside your head with like that slight echo, the little reverb, and you're like, I should have bought the Twizzler Pull and Peels. Why didn't I buy the Twizzler Pull and Peel?
I can't. Those are words for me.
Where's
When
my
I was
Pepto
eating
and
them,
my
they were giving me like, it felt like fire was in my daggone chest. But here's something else I got.
What the fuck?
Very nice.
Autobot Jazz and the Fresh Prince.
Was that from T Public?
Yes, I believe.
I have a feeling you saw that design and fell in love with that shirt instantly.
As soon as I saw it, they advertised it to me on Instagram. As soon as I saw it, I just paid for it immediately. Like
You just knew.
But then after
We're
I
making
got
your
it,
money immediately.
after I got it, I realized, oh yeah, I saw this design online like years ago. But somebody, I guess, capitalized and made it a shirt. Is this Darth Vader supposed to be? This is
It's Empire Strikes Back, isn't it?
yes. He's not supposed to have the chain around the neck.
Don't know. Maybe not. Possibly, but no. His design, I'll be honest with you, like his design changed both substantially and subtly enough from movie to movie that I didn't really notice a whole lot. In fact, it was 20 years later when I noticed that gray part of his mask that everybody talks about now. And then it's one of those, it's almost like a Picard Crystal kind of moment where you're like, he didn't have a gray panel on his face mask. Then you go back and watch A New Hope, and sure as shit, there it is in every scene. So they did it, I guess, to break up all the black. Yeah, his left cheek. No, in A New Hope, it's his left cheek is a different color than the rest of his face mask.
Oh, on this, the whole under chin is gunmetal.
Yeah. Sportimus does clarify that says that Empire Strikes Back, Darth Vader does not have a chain.
You
I think
know,
it's Return of the Jedi Vader that has.
And then once, after Return of the Jedi, though, once they got into the 90s, he moved the chain down to his car keys and clips it to his belt. So he falls in line with the times. But still.
Face
Anywho.
wizards. You think they would get along?
I think that he would be too hypnotized by her cones, as I am.
Her ability to make his monster grow.
His lightsaber extends in her presence.
Probably.
Well, speaking of mesmerized by cones, Matt, how the hell are you? And did you get anything cool this week?
I am great. All the work I had to do this week is really brutal. Worked 3 days this week, worked 2 days next week, worked 1.5 days the week after that. But I'm going to be swamped with work. So anyway, that's enough about me. This week, getting stuff-wise, I ended up playing a bunch of catch-up with Black Series. There was that line of Black Series figures that popped up initially and then disappeared forever off the face of the earth, and I ended up getting 2 more from that series. Hasbro Pulse went up for restock, and I ended up grabbing the Phase 1 Clone Trooper, who has got a lot of attitude and fairly decent articulation. As I told T and I think a couple other people, maybe Foosh, Robo, have pointed out that there is a face sculpt up under there. I might heat the helmet tomorrow and see if I can see. I know it's just, there's no paint to it. It's just white, but I'm curious to what it looks like. So might end up taking that helmet off, but he's really good.
He looks like a Mandalorian under there.
It's probably a what's his name? Tamara Morrison sculpt, which they already had.
You might recognize my face.
Yeah, Bora Bora face sculpt. The other one is the one I've been tracking down for a while that I'm glad to have. T found him fairly quickly and made me all sorts of jealous. And that's the Stormtrooper Barbecue Edition. And he is awesome. T, you bought the new Stormtrooper, right? And you have this guy, and you can confirm that they're the same body more than likely.
I believe so.
Yeah,
that one has the shoulder pads attached to the socket. I mean the swivel joint.
On this guy, the shoulder pad, yes, is attached to the shoulder up top, and the arm is separate.
Yeah, it looks pretty much the same.
Yeah, and this guy is probably one of my favorite Black Series pickups of the year. Will it make my list? No, I wouldn't put it on my list for the year anyway because he's brand new and you get that new figure feelings. So I wouldn't include him anyway. But there's still another figure that tops this, and we'll get to that. But he is really good. If you can find him, grab him, and then buy him dinner. Back to you, Jordan, because that's all I've got, I think. Oh, and one more thing. T, I haven't.
Well, my week was.
But Jordan, how are you?
My week was pretty light. I'm doing pretty well. Thank you for asking. Week's gone by pretty quick. It's gonna be a short week next week, and kind of like you, I've been swamped at work and just kind of trying to hit deadlines for projects. But the rest of the year is just going to be 3-day work weeks, so I'm looking forward to that. So as I said, light week. The only things I got were pre-orders that I forgot to cancel. One of them I really wish I had, and this is the Spin Out and Corden, or that Spin Out. That's Corden, the Generation Select 2-pack. This one doesn't break the bank or anything. These are just really uninteresting repaints. I pre-ordered them when they were announced, and what's that thing?
I said dibs.
I'm not getting rid of them. I wish that they had come with weapons or something. That's the thing is like they're not sold at a premium, but there's no paint apps. And Spin Out, like his chest is this matte color for whatever reason, but the rest of them is glossy plastic. So kind of weird. Corden actually has the sirens molded on the top. they both just come with the engine intake as their only weapon. They could have given them like rifles and called it a day, but they're fine. They're just, yeah, I've transformed them both.
Do the light bar get in the way?
No, the light bar. Yeah, the light bar does not get in the way at all. Just because, like when I transform them, I'll do the legs, and then you combiner wars the legs. Well, rotate them around. So like when I get to this step, I just pull the chest down, and then I rotate the torso again, and yeah, it does not get in the way at all.
Oh,
the only thing that sucks about Corden is, like, look, they didn't do anything with his transparent plastic, so it does not look great. Whereas on Spin Out, they did the same.
His chest isn't a fake chest.
Yeah, and they should have done this black. I think that would have worked way better if they just had given like his glass parts a black tint. But yeah, very uninteresting. The other one was one I shouldn't say I was going to cancel this pre-order because I wasn't. This is the Universal Studios Megatron from Studio Series, and he's pretty awesome. He doesn't come with the cloak, but I mean, he's painted to look like the big Megatron that sits outside Universal Studios and taunts people. And one of the main reasons I wanted him is I've had this figure forever, and this is Evac from Universal Studios. So finally, I have the two robots from the ride. Evac was one that you could only ever get at the parks. So my buddy Ruben, who lives in Florida, I was asking like, hey, if you ever go to Universal Studios, could you snag me one of these? Because he got me Evac, and Evac's never been available outside of Universal Studios. But I mean, yeah, he's just Megatron. He's got a nice paint scheme. They actually did give him, I mean, he doesn't really transform. He's just, this is supposed to be how the suit looks. But they did give him some nice paint details. I think all around he looks better than the Dark of the Moon Studio Series one. But, still at the end of the day, it's kind of unnecessary. He comes with a backdrop of, Universal Studios, like the ride, which I thought was pretty cool. And, yeah, that was my haul for the week. I should have some cool stuff coming in through the holidays. And,
there you are, T.
And he's already got her posed.
I got her posed. And I don't know if you have any feedback from other people, but I got the exact same head problem that you do, Giggity.
Yeah.
It snaps to one position that's angled off into the left.
GM Reviews has the same thing.
Yeah. So I'm going to try some, what do you call it? The shock oil and see if that'll give it some, I'm going to lube up her head a little and see if that gives her some movement.
Shock oil.
Otherwise, I'm gonna say this is 100% improvement over RC. I did not like RC, but this is not bad.
That's the crazy thing is because it's supposed to be RC's body, but she uses it better.
She does use it better.
I think the backpack on her looks
transformed, right, Jordan?
Yeah, no, it transforms like exactly like the Dark of the Moon one does. Just no cloak.
So, anyway.
All right, you guys
moving right along.
We got two news articles real quick before we get into, and we're gonna have a lengthy discussion tonight about our figures of the year. So if you guys want to hear us talk bots and our preferences, you guys are in for a treat. I mean, that kind of came out weird, didn't it? Bots and preferences.
No,
but toys in general. We're going to talk a lot of it. So, a couple weeks back, or maybe it was last week, we talked about, I think it was last week, that buzzworthy Bumblebee, what exactly it is. And I know on this channel, we've talked a bit about how it's kind of, I think even last week, T, I think you were the one that said it, that it's so crazy that Bumblebee went from being like everywhere to being like nowhere. Siege and Earthrise and Studio Series have kind of been scant on Bumblebee releases. Well, I think Hasbro probably hurt us because just today we learned that there is a new subline of Transformers coming Buzzworthy Bumblebee.
That's all Bumblebee every day, all day.
And Bumblebee equivalent.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So these appear to be mostly studio series so far. If you missed out on Charlie from that garage set, well, you got another chance to get Charlie with the Camaro Bumblebee from the Bumblebee movie. Interesting here, he's got the black paint deco and the stripes. I don't know what's going on here. Yellow eyes. I mean, I'd like the. Wow.
Stupid robots.
Yeah, stupid robots. That's
like it has the stripe on the shoulders.
I think the uprising has started.
I know, it's telling me about owls. I don't know what the hell's going on.
I'm gonna change the name of the episode after this, y'all. Figure action, all about owls. Or I'll bet you didn't. But it's missing
know. Missing the. I don't know. We've seen a lot of stuff with these prototype pictures, where like they're missing the paint deco, and then when the figure comes out, it's there. World War II Bumblebee, crap figure. Nothing different. I mean, it looks like you might have more of the paint wear. If you missed out on Shatter, the worst version of Shatter, which is their car mode version. Honestly, I'll tell you what, if they gave the Shatter the correct head and they fixed the shoulders, I might have considered it.
Yeah, nobody missed out on that.
I think this is really a missed opportunity here. She's an okay figure, save for the bad shoulders and the fact that she's using she doesn't have the right head. And then of course we get a Revenge of the Fallen Bumblebee. So yeah, this line's kind of Hasbro's answer for, hey, if you missed out on any of these figures, you get a Sam with that. That's probably the same Sam that came with the movie masterpiece Jazz.
It looks like it. Maybe Prime versus Prime.
Yeah.
Even though he said he don't know.
What is this? Maybe
he can test to see if Shatter shoulders fall off. Because I'm not buying it.
He'll be our guinea pig. I mean, hey, sometimes it's nice to have stuff that's coming out that you don't need to buy. That's like when people get upset about RC getting reused in Kingdom and Prime getting reused in Kingdom. I'm like, I'm fine with that. They let people who couldn't find them at retail buy them. By all means, do away with the Alicon back in there, because that's how it used to be in G1. His figures were on the shelf for a lot longer than they are now.
Right, and the rest of us can just skip.
All right. So next,
as long as they have like a different DPCI number
says, is this line?
Yeah, as long as the DPCI number is different from the movie, the animated movie, then I'll be happy. If they got the same like SKU number or whatever, I'm gonna be pissed.
What do you think it's gonna be? You know.
Yeah. Especially if it's at Target, it's gonna be the same DCPM. Is this line made to fail? I don't think the line's made to fail. I think that Hasbro has seen that there's a shortage of Bumblebee, and they're just like, hey, let's just give people a line of Bumblebee. I mean, in all honesty, that Netflix Bumblebee is getting scalped for about $100 right now, which is nuts.
Tonight, I saw 3 of everybody.
Bumblebee says, Primer. Sportimus dropped a comment just for you there, T. Prime versus Prime needs to pause and take a breath once in a while. He talks like the Micro Machines guy.
I've had that same thought. But no hate to Prime versus Prime. I love all reviewers except the ones I don't like.
I think that's a solid stance to take.
So So our last little bit of news, this and this is not confirmed, but when we saw rumblings about unique toys earlier in the year, we took it with a grain of salt, said it wasn't confirmed. But we had seen Unique Toys winding down. Now, Unique Toys has one more release left, and I think DX9 is just releasing their drag strip right now, which is actually just called drag strip, surprisingly. And this was from the DX9 Toys Weibo, and it says, "Goodbye. I haven't logged in for a long time. Come here to tell." And again, this is a translation, so the English on here isn't perfect. I haven't logged in for a long time. Come here to tell everyone that our team has actually left for a long time and has not received our labor income, including various reprints. It is not that it doesn't handle it, but it is incapable of processing. Not sure what that means. Please contact the manufacturer's management staff to solve it. For the first product in 2014, the past 6 years, thank you to everyone for your tolerance and love for enabling us to understand some designs. I guess that's thanks for liking what we've done. We've made a lot of friends and received a lot of feedback on quality control. In short, goodbye, friends. I wish everyone can realize their ideals, and we will have better discoveries in the future. Our account will be disabled for a period of time. In the future, there will be new development directions and renames. We're willing to continue to pay attention. Friends, keep it. See you. A lot of people are saying this is them,
but this is from their officials. So I don't know if you get much more
correct.
than
and
that.
That was harder to understand.
There's the screenshot.
Some Bible passages.
So, reading what's been going on, there have been some people that have come forward and said that they haven't been paying their factory workers, and they're in a bad spot, and they're folding up operations for the foreseeable future. So again, we've seen a lot of interesting stuff in 2020. We've seen some turbulence with fans toys. We've seen Unique Toys fold. We've seen Black Mamba get shut down, and whether you want to accept it or not, third party is intellectual property theft, and there's been huge crackdowns on that by the Chinese government and authorities. So I'm curious if it's a combination of that and the overhead of running the business. I'm glad to see they were able to finish their Menasor, but I do think it's kind of unfortunate that DX9 is folding, if this is true, because I think they're an underrated third-party company.
Well, less stuff to worry about.
I mean, it's not. This is not.
That's true.
The thing about it's not though, because the thing about third party is that they'll be back. Some arrangement of the same group of people will be back under a new name or maybe two different companies. We'll see them again under DX10. It won't. It'll be like that. It'll be some new company that releases, and that'll be that.
It might be.
It's like a Hydra. You cut off one head and
So unless there's some kind of,
I'm curious.
No, go ahead.
I'm curious, like what will happen. Gita pops in. DX9 is trying. I disagree with that. I think that DX9 definitely has had some flops, but they've had some really good figures. I still think that their Power Glide is second to none. I mean, that's a figure that really is like fans toys in terms of aesthetic and quality.
And DX9 pioneered a lot of stuff too. I think they tried out a lot of things.
Yeah. I think their designs haven't aged all that well. And you look at something like Shigur. What's that, T?
So I think we have a delay between when we talk and you hear us.
I could always exit and come back. Let me do that real quick.
But they're going to come back as EY10.
I mean, I agree with him that a lot of their figures haven't aged that well. But like I was saying, there's a lot of stuff that they pioneered. I mean, a lot of the Legends figures that they had were, the first time seeing a bunch of that kind of thing in that scale. And while other companies have since improved on their designs, it's still a testament. I still have their figures on my shelf, some of which probably won't be replaced because I like them. But that's sort of the name of the game, right? Most companies, with a few exceptions, have figures that you buy now that you will likely end up replacing later with something better. Now, that's not everybody or everything, and I'm sure the people that buy fans toys especially would be argumentative about that. But there are certainly companies that will always come out with something better. DX9 has had a place in third-party history, same as Fans Project, right? Their stuff is not the biggest and the best right now because there's been so many that come out to replace it. Still, if you have DX9 stuff and you like it, you're awesome.
No, only thing DX9 I have is the Cyclonus, Scourge, and Galvatron.
The little 3-pack for the Legends. Yeah.
And I think you hit the nail on the head, Matt. I mean, they really did pioneer a lot of third-party designs. Like after I got Hydra, I was kind of upset that I got rid of their 6-shot. I think their 6-shot's an awesome figure. I think there's certain things about their Galvatron that's better than the Fans Toys one. I think that their what was the name of Carrie, their Rodimus Prime. I mean, that's not cartoon accurate, but it's got an awesome transformation. It's one of my favorite third-party figures to take off the shelf and flip back and forth. And I think that they're very underrated in a lot of the figures that they've had. I know there are some people that really still to this day have a lot of enjoyment for their Mirage, and still that's their Mirage on their shelf. They never replaced it.
I forgot about Carrie. That's a good point. Where you look at that thing and you're like, where's the trailer? And then you transform it. It's kind of this crazy expanding dream of a figure. It's odd too that DX9, now a dead company, has a cool transformation like that. And then when you said that, I was just thinking one of my favorite third-party transformations of all time is Fans Project's what the hell's his name? Smart Robin is one of my favorite transformations. I get 2 dead companies with 2 lines that are I don't know. It's just weird. It goes to show you like what you like.
Technically isn't dead, which is weird.
Okay, on life support, you're right. Technically not dead, but it's for all intent and purposes.
Yeah, on life support, about right.
Yeah.
DX9 Psykill was cool, but once Machine Robo came out,
right. But they gone.
They also
Carrie,
did Splinter.
If I ever bought that, it would have went with my Generations figures.
I put him with my Headmasters. Just because I think he meets that aesthetic a little bit. He definitely nails the Studio Ox aesthetic. We'll give him that.
But anywho, I think that that's really all we know about that situation. And again, it's just like anything else third party. We're sort of hearing it through a translation, even though this time it's direct from the source, which gives a little more credence to it. But that's what we know.
I'm going to pour out
to the store and you go to the source, TF source.
For DX9.
That's not 40 ounces. Come on, at least give him 40 ounces.
Well, he's going to do it a bunch of times, though. So it's okay. So I think, was that everything we had for news?
Yeah, just those 2 items. Like I said, I want to make tonight really about celebrating our favorite figures of the year.
The awesome year.
And talking about them a little bit. Yeah, 2020. It's funny. This year has been really bad for a lot of people in a lot of ways, and a lot of us personally. I think everybody has had everybody on the show has had, and our audience too has had some sort of trial. Not even everybody in general that I know has had something come up this year, and it just has been a very brutal year on everybody, but we can at least agree this has been an awesome year for figures. And while we did find figures and I should preface that when we talk about our disappointing figures of the year, they may be a figure that you really enjoyed. And these are just figures that did not meet our expectations. But the good outweighs the bad this year. I had a hard time just getting this to 5. Look, so the way we're going to do this is we're going to do 5 official Transformers. Again, we can either do them in no particular order or save our figure of the year for last. Then we're going to do our third party, and then we're going to do non-Transformers. And when we do those, we'll cap it off with should we start with our most disappointing figures?
We can do that.
What do you guys think?
Yes, I didn't know about the 5 official.
That way we don't end on a sour note.
I didn't break mine up into different categories. I just have general list of top 5s that are a mix of everything. I don't have 5 of this, 5 of that. So
yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah. So you can certainly go into depth with yours, Jordan, but I don't quite go that deep.
Yeah.
I mean, personally for me, like as far as figures go, I don't like the figure. I usually don't keep it. So I only end up having in my collection figures that I really like. So as far as like disappointing figures, I have ones that met my expectations, but I'll talk about. I don't want you to.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go first.
Now, for me, when I get to mine, I am gonna do for each category. All right,
Sure.
All right. We'll let T go first.
Yeah, let's start.
Well,
all right. So T,
not horrible figures.
You gonna start off with your.
Yeah, they're not horrible, but I am disappointed with them because I wanted better. Like Transformers Red, like when I heard non-transforming Transformers, I was expecting them to go all the way out with the detail and articulation. Like they do come with the positives, is they come with a lot of a lot of accessories, and the packaging is awesome. But the QC with the swirly plastic is like horrible. Everybody got the swirly plastic, and then the articulation is like super limited. Like his elbow pits look like they're designed to be double jointed, but they're not. And the fact that they can't kick forward more than 90 degrees, that stresses me out the most. Now with Megatron, at least he has the ab crunch, so you can fake more than 90 degrees.
And you have the special edition non-ratchet version.
Yeah, and then this doesn't have a ratchet at all on mine. And I watched somebody else, theirs didn't have it either. So I was shocked to find out that some of them do have strong ratchets. But so far, I'm not looking well for these. I hope in the next batch they don't have the swirly plastic, which seems to be a lot of people's main complaint more than art. Everybody isn't a super duper crazy articulation nut as like me, but they do look like what they're supposed to look like. But I am disappointed with them. And this I should have already known, but it was 25 books, and yeah, he's a mess. But that's about that on that. As far as disappointing.
That's it. That's your only disappointing. That's pretty good considering your.
Are we gonna do? We'll do a round table on disappointments.
Yeah, I think so, and then we'll circle back to the tops.
All right. Well, how about you, Matt? What do you have for your?
So for most disappointing, like I said before, I don't tend to keep ones that I really don't like, and I do enough research in most figures that I don't typically buy figures that I'm not going to like. All that having been said, I did keep 2 that are good but are disappointing for different reasons. So my first that I find disappointing is the Mafex Hush Batman. I like him a lot, but there's just some things about him that piss me off. What? Oh, I thought you were saying something. The cape on him's too big.
I was gonna say, aren't we gonna do are we doing this by Transformers first?
No, I don't. I mean, I only have 2 figures total of disappointing. So I mean, I can. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Forget I said that. I just, like I said, I don't have categories of anything. It's just disappointing and top 5-ish, and with some honorable mentions. So you know what? I'm going to say it anyway. This dude, he's got this huge cape, which is okay, but it's too damn big, and some of the articulation is too loose and kind of spotty. Again, he's a great figure, but if I had to pick, he's certainly up there for disappointing for me. He's not quite what I wanted it to be. Now, Transformers-wise, this is my most disappointing figure of the year. It's this guy. MP Hound is my most disappointing figure of the year because I expected so much from him. If the QC had been up a whole bunch of notches, he would be on my figure of the year list because I like the transformation. I like the articulation. I like the look of him, but he's so fucking scary to mess with that it tanks the whole thing for me. Having a figure on my shelf that I'm scared to mess with and don't want to manipulate, it doesn't do anything for me as a collector with the way my own personal tastes. Because I'm not a transform him once and set him on the shelf kind of guy. I'm take him down, mess with him. And this guy does not lend himself to that because I'd rather at this point have a whole statue than a broken action figure. So here he stands. He's got a few cracks in him already. There's this one in the back. I don't know if you can see. There you go. You can see it right there on the second down little circle part connecting his head. But there's definitely some cracks in him. He is disappointing quality control-wise. It sucks because they drop the ball so hard on the quality of the figure and the materials used, but everything else, like somebody put their heart and soul into designing this thing and really making it something special, and then fucked it up building it. I think that's my most disappointing figure this year. I think technically I got it at the end of December, but we're gonna go with this year on that one. That's it for me. That's why I didn't have it broken down.
Well, you didn't make last year's show.
Right. So, and that's why I didn't have it broken down, because as far as disappointing figures go, like that's it. Everything else is either on track for my expectations or exceeded it. So I can't complain. It's a good problem to have. Jordan, how about you, sir?
So for my official Transformers, I have 2. One is going to be like oh, okay, I saw that coming. So we'll get that one out of the way first. That is the Studio Series Satellite Soundwave. This thing is such trash. It's like, what even is this thing? Nothing really locks in. He doesn't really look good in the satellite mode. He doesn't stay on his stand well. He's very simplistic. They could have at least painted him. He's still available. It's kind of leave him if you see him. He's not very good. I gotta say, an honorable mention. I almost put Studio Series Devastator on here, and that's one where it's like that figure has so many problems, but there are redeeming qualities to it. So it's just like I wanted to put it on here, but I couldn't bring myself to do it, and it does have shelf presence. So that was why I didn't bring it on. But the official figure that was most disappointing for me, and this one breaks my heart, and it's probably going to surprise a lot of you guys, is the Masterpiece Tigatron. And like Hound, this is a figure that I'm afraid to mess with. He has tolerance issues. Like mine here has a very wobbly leg. Actually, both legs are kind of wobbly. I heard Sony talking last night, TM Reviews. He got this guy on sale on Amazon Japan. And I'm like, man, I really wish I would have waited. He also suffers from the Takara. We didn't put a clear coat on or enough paint, where he's got clearance issues and paint will chip off. So, it's like one of those figures where you don't want to flip him back and forward or back and forth. He's got really weird engineering in the legs. He's over-engineered. He looks great. He's got a lot of shelf presence, and something just fell off of him right here and now. I think it was that wrist rocket thing. Damn, I don't want that lost in my carpet. But yeah, he's not. I just hope in 2021. I'm kind of afraid of RC, to be honest with y'all. That Takara's just not going to get their shit together, and we're really starting to see things in third party world dissolve. And I do like Takara. I do like official masterpieces. I don't support KOs. I mean, I'll get a KO if I already have the figure, but I just expect better, and I feel like this figure was just such a letdown on so many levels, especially since the Beast Wars masterpiece figures were a step above the G1 masterpiece. So, especially with what they're charging, and I say it a lot. I know I'm beating a dead horse. They charge Chigokin prices, but they don't put out Chigokin quality. So those are my two disappointing official Transformers.
No, that Soundwave.
Out with the bad.
That Soundwave people were still telling me I should get it. I was like, why? I don't want it.
Well, if it's that bad, it looks like you can pick it up on the cheap eventually. You got hit up an Ollie's or a discount store.
Or he'll be one of those figures that hits like $12 on Amazon. Like we've been seeing with like official Hasbro products. I mean, all right, I'm going to be right back. I realized why I'm stuttery. For whatever reason, my computer is on Wi-Fi and not Ethernet. It's not seeing my Ethernet connection, so I'm going to reboot real quick.
Bye, Jordan. Bye.
But T.
Oh, there he is. There.
I will be right back, and I'll be watching T's top 5 while I rejoin. So T, what are your top 5 figures of official Transformers?
I had my list kind of like Matt had his, but let me scramble.
Yeah, well, it's all right. I'll talk for a second. T and I Jordan kind of had in his mind that he's going to do the top 5 of each category. T and I were like kind of, at least me looking at it, I'm like, I have figures that I picked out that are top 5 material, but I don't have it broken down just because I feel different ways about them. I don't know. It was just easier for me to come up with a top 5 in general with some honorable mentions. So I don't know if I guess T approached it the same way.
Now I can do, because I got like, let's see, 3 right here. And one of my top ones was in your disappointing.
Yeah.
Now I still like him because I love articulation and I love the way he looks. Looks just like it came off the cartoon, but it does suck that the plastic quality is really, really iffy and shaky. Like I said before on this show, after transforming him back to be a robot after him being a Jeep for a long time, I noticed little cracks, but I still like him. Bumblebee has been my most anticipated figure of the year before I even knew what it looked like. I've been waiting for this to come out. Flames Toys. I love this thing. I love messing around with it. I don't know where. I think his gun is buried over there. I have a pile. It looks a wreck in here. I have a pile of toys I need to put together. So I don't know what I did with his gun. Let's see. I've been enjoying this, Steve, even though these movie masterpieces have been super hit or miss. But
you think you like him more than you thought you would, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. And I'm happy mine doesn't have like super loose ankles or legs like I've seen other people have. Mine, he can actually stand up. I think that was 4. And I don't have Scorponok. If that would probably be number 1. But and none of this is really in order. And when you watch my channel, when I do my real list, I might not even have some of these figures on there. But Runabout, Runamuck, and Skylinks. I know I'm cheating, I really like those. I guess Matt, you can talk about one of your favorite.
So yeah, if we're talking about official favorite Transformers, the ones off the top of my head that I can speak to are, I don't know if it's top 5-ish, but I'll say Earthrise Prime is definitely on there. Runabout and Runabout and Runabuck are, yeah. There are a couple now. They're Runabuck. So those two, but I will say that, and I had this guy as on my top list. This is a shocking favorite Transformer of mine from this year. When they showed off this Bumblebee for as a Walmart exclusive, I ruled it out. I'm like, I'm not getting it. I'm not going to find it, so I'm not going to worry about it. And it's probably just like Cliff Jumper. And while it is a lot like Cliff Jumper, as it should be, this thing is a mini masterpiece. And I know we say that about a lot of things, but god damn, for $20, this is amazing little figure. The paint is there, the sculpt is there, the color is there, the matching. I mean, where this part on the top is translucent plastic that's painted yellow, and it's a perfect yellow to match the rest of the vehicle mode. Are you listening, Sunstreaker? It's a perfect yellow that matches the rest of the vehicle.
You know what? Actually, if you have Transform It, I think that part is a solid plastic piece, and they took the extra money and screwed in a transparent windshield underneath of it.
Well, I can tell you then, if that's the case, though, these pieces in between are definitely painted yellow on transparent.
Yeah, that it still perfectly matches.
And it still matches, so the point still stands. I think you're right, though. I think maybe the panels are actually separate, but still, from start to finish on this thing, it is immaculately matched in color and deco. It's amazing. Can't say enough good things about this guy. I hate to talk it up too because it's so hard to find with a Walmart exclusive, but if you can get him, please do, because you'll like him a lot. I have another figure in my list later that's another hard to find figure that I feel guilty talking about because I found it and a lot of people didn't. But regardless, still know it's a good figure, and if you do manage to find it, you won't be disappointed. So that's it for me as far as official. I'm just looking around to make sure. Yeah, we'll call it
internet friends, and you'll be able to get this Bumblebee.
Yeah,
some people have like, I've seen pictures of 6 of these at once in one store.
Yeah, his name is Kevin Womack, 555 8462.
I think it was Dewdog that had like what 6 of them.
Yeah.
I've yet to see him in the wild, but yeah, I've been looking for people. As far as what you said, Matt, I couldn't agree more. He is a little miniature masterpiece, and it's amazing how well they match the paint. I kind of wish though that they had just tossed in the gun that came with the Centurion pack.
Yes,
but
that was cheap shot. I mean, if you had the Centurion pack, you're happy. But if you are missing that, that's kind of a pain in the ass.
While you're on your break, Matt, you could take his bumper off, and you'll see what I'm talking about with the plastic being a separate piece.
There it is.
Yeah, I got you.
Am I not stuttering now?
If you can hear us instantly.
I can hear you instantly.
Yeah, there seemed to be a delay before where we were talking, and I don't know if you didn't hear anything, but you just kind of blasted through with something.
No, what happened was I don't know what happened with my computer, but I'm hardwired into my router, and my motherboard has a really shitty Wi-Fi adapter in it. So for whatever reason, my computer was connected through Wi-Fi. I mean, my router is literally right here, but yeah, for whatever reason, it had me connected through Wi-Fi, and I was like, that's why I'm stuttering. So for whatever reason, my motherboard would not allow me to reconnect the Ethernet, so I rebooted, and everything's good now. So
okay,
well, it was like the newscast where they'd be like, "Hey Sheila, can you tell us what's going on over there in downtown Baltimore?" And Sheila will just be sitting there like,
"Yeah, right." It was like a newscast.
Yeah, Kelly, I'll get to this.
All right, so let me go through my my top 5, and I'll start my top 5 off with a tie. I originally I paid full price for this guy, and I returned him when he went on clearance. Even at full price, this MPM Starscream is a very good figure, even without the bicep articulation. And as T said, the MPM line has been very hit or miss. And as I mentioned, this is a tie with the MPM Ratchet. And I'm glad I got this guy when I did, because everybody was like, oh, he's just going to go on clearance. And he never did. He sold out and never came back. Both these are really good figures. I think they're the best representations of the characters that we've ever had. I will say I wish Starscream had better articulation. There is a KO coming out that fixes a lot of that. But even without, check out T-Man's video. He's got ways that you can actually cheese the bicep articulation. But I just think he's a really well-made figure. He's got a lot of shelf presence, and even at his original price point, he is a huge figure. And Ratchet, I think literally this is the best representation we've had of Ratchet. Ratchet's really well made, well painted, hefty, a lot of die cast, good articulation. Really a step up from what we got with the MPM Ironhide. And I still like the MPM Ironhide. And that was a figure I paid full price for. Moving up to my number 4. This is a figure I recently got, and I don't know what it is about this figure other than, we went so long without getting good Megatrons, and I'm not the biggest fan of Titan Returns molds, but I think this figure has so much playability. I really love moving him in his various modes, and I love the fact he's got all the panels that flip in and out. It's a fun transformation. It's a fun figure to mess about with. He looks amazing. I mean, this is a Megatron I would have lost it for when I was a kid. And, it's cool to actually have a representation of Super Megatron, because I remember when I was younger seeing the scans of the manga and, really thinking like, man, that is such a cool Megatron design. I'd love it if somebody made a figure of that. And like 20 years later, from when I saw those scans, I think those scans are from the 80s, even the late 80s. Actually, they're probably from the early 90s, but still, like even like 30 years later, we finally have a Super Megatron. Moving up to my number 3, surprising no one, Earthrise Skylinks. This is probably one of the best made mainline figures. This is like, this figure just offers so much playability. It is probably the best made transfer. And it's funny, I've got 2 more, and spoiler, one more of these is an Earthrise. But this figure this feels like Hasbro of old made this. It's hefty. It's durable. The transformation's there. It's solid. There's really not much hollowness going on in this guy. And he's just got a presence too. This would have been such an easy one to write off with a really, really simple transformation, but they did things like, up here, when you put him into his Skylinks mode, you can actually pop out the shoulder to give him a broader appearance. He comes with a lot of effects pieces. The wings have a lot of articulation, and little things like the solar panels here, like the original toy had. I could go on all day about this figure, and it was probably one of the figure. It probably was the figure, the official figure I messed around with the most this year. My number 2 is kind of cheesing it. It is an official product, but it's not made by Hasbro, and that is the 3A deluxe scale Optimus Prime. And this figure definitely catches a lot of people's eyes. I've had friends that are not into Transformers come over and be like, wow, that is a really cool looking Optimus Prime. The articulation on this thing is nuts. I still get blown away by how the back on it works. And these things just, they're Hot Toys quality. I really can't state it enough. but the articulation's there. It's very solidly made, very posable. I'm aware I've got him in like a static figure, but I've had him in like running poses and holding out his ion cannon. And I really, really am glad that I got this and I passed on Freedom Leader after seeing the Freedom Leader transformation. And, I'm normally not one that's about non-transforming Transformers, but this figure just is so amazing and carries such a presence. I really don't care that he doesn't transform. And he looks really good with Blitzwing and Bumblebee. So I'm hoping that 3A gets their shatter and their drop kick out pretty soon. And my top figure of the year, which T mentioned earlier, is Earthrise Scorponok. And I don't think a Titan class figure has ever been this fun. Much like with Skylinks, this figure's really, really well made. He does have some waffling, and there's parts of him that they kind of they do feel like toy plastic, whereas Skylinks feels very solid. But I mean, still, this is the most solid Titan class figure that Hasbro's ever made. The paint on him is really good. The articulation's there. The transformation's a lot of fun. As you can see, I've got the core class Kingdom Optimus here, like he has on the box art. There's really nothing other than like some of the hollowness. There's some add-on kits you can get to fix some of that, but I don't really even think it's necessary. This, even though it's a big toy, it still looks like a collector piece, and he looks awesome on a shelf. He's a lot of fun. I think the irony is he's my official figure of the year, but I mentioned that I played with Skylinks the most. I think the reason he wins out over Skylinks for me is just because of the shelf presence. I mean, even beating that Optimus, he's beating a 3A Hot Toys quality Optimus. But every time I walk into my collection room and I see him there, he commands like this big presence, and I'm really happy to have this Scorponok. Because he just looks big, badass, and imposing, and it's just an awesome looking piece. I hope they reissue him. There's been rumors swirling around that they will, because I know he was hard to find for some people because he kind of came out of nowhere and sold out instantly. If you have the opportunity to get him, he can't come recommended enough. So, those are my my top 5 official Transformers.
Okay.
So I think next we'll go ahead and we'll get into third party. T, do you have any disappointing third party figures?
And just as Jordan said, by the way, too, as we're talking, guys, please put your most liked, put your list in the chat too, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, definitely. Make sure that and Night William says Zero, you're all kids at heart. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that makes the hobby resonate with people, is that you just kind of never grew out of it, or you wanted to have the stuff you couldn't have when you were a kid. And that line from Step Brothers, even better, we got it when we're 40.
Disappointing, definitely. E-Hobby Athena, who I didn't bring in the room. I just grabbed some figures that were near her. I didn't bring her in here because I wasn't thinking about that. But the quality of that just kind of sucks, and like not being able to hold the weapon well, things not tabbing together, and on the legs. If I had to put like tissue in her little peg joints, so the leg panels will stay shut. And yeah, that was disappointing. And not too terribly, but still disappointing because it has things that drive me up the wall with it. But Speedstar, is that Magic to wear?
That, are you talking about the
Mirage?
Yeah, that's Transform Element.
Transform Element. He's great, and looks, when I pulled it out the box, I was like, man, this looks like Fans Toys. But then when I started trying to move the head, that panel underneath of his neck that just keeps moving every time you move the head. Like, I can't believe somebody played with that and okayed the design. And they didn't think, let's fix this crap, because this ain't right.
Don't
Like,
worry.
it moves every time.
I've got plenty to say to Transform Element.
Like, yeah, those are my disappointments that I can think of offhand. But most of this, unfortunately, is like by the same company. But in no particular order besides maybe the last thing I showed. But I definitely like this dude right here, Dune Runner from, this probably would be closer to the top. But the fact that he just looks so good, looks like it jumped out of the cartoon front and back, and it still transforms into a solid Dune buggy is amazing to me. And then the feel of it, like, this weighs more than several other figures.
Henry was really giving you a hard time about that ab crunch.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I can get over that.
That ab crunch totally counts. I don't know what he was talking about.
He was talking about the gap that it makes right here.
Yeah, I've gotten over it. So should he.
Yeah, I don't even pay it any attention. It works, and then you don't even have to use it. I also like their Warpath.
I wish I got that.
Uh-oh. Every time I move this, his arm was moving.
I'm glad I didn't get it.
But he looks good too. Looks like what he's supposed to represent and feels good. Same thing, but not to the level of that of the Beachcomber. And I was shocked that they actually gave him ab crunch with this band's fans.
Yeah.
So they typically don't offer ab crunch. But he's good. And I like their Hunk. The only thing I dislike about him is that other face. I like this face because I like this one better because it's expressive. But when I put the other face on, it falls off.
Yeah.
It's frustrating. But he still looks good, and he's miles better than Bronny. And this came out this year, right?
The reissue, yeah.
Reissue did, yeah.
This thing is gorgeous. My complaints are minimal. I keep forgetting how to transform it every time I leave it sitting still for a second. And if you don't see something on this list that you think should have been on there, I don't own it, like Thomas or whatever their Wild Rider's name is. But this thing is beautiful. I used to have it in the background of some of my videos, and people are like, are you going to review it? And I still haven't reviewed it. Every time I perfect the transformation, I've gotten new toys, and these just kept getting put to the side.
I regret not picking that up.
Yeah, you should have got it.
Thanks.
Or
good pep talk.
I got lucky with this. If you didn't hear in previous episodes, I paid $11 for this in a raffle. So I got super duper lucky. I was joking, telling Sony to rig it, and then I won. The person who's doing the raffle didn't run the raffle, so it was a coincidence. And then I can't put this figure down. Basically, I don't think I've put her away since I've purchased it. So here she is with her great nephew right here, Rat Trap. Or a great nephew, I should say. Since he said great and RC. But beautiful. Love it in both modes. Love her options. You can turn into a bunch of others. I mean, you have so many options as far as her accessories. Like, I like to put the wings up. It would have been super nice if she came with the more RC looking face, but I still love it anyway.
Yeah, I think the fandom for Firebird Toys is doing an awesome job with creating those optional parts. I've seen some really good looking heads come out of that Facebook group.
You know, I have not been in that group. I haven't got any notifications after a while.
I had to turn them off because they were too frequent. But I'm looking forward to seeing what they do next, especially their Windblade.
I want to see that because it's definitely better than Wheel Bleed.
Oh, God.
I don't even own that, and I'm disappointed by that.
It's on your list, and you didn't even buy it.
Right. But that was 5 people. Partsformer, I guess, or Jordan, since you have a whole list of third party.
Well, we'll go. Matt, do you have a top 5 for third party?
I do. I can
Oh, you
pull that off.
See, we'll skip the disappointments.
Well, I don't. As I say, I don't. I went through all my disappointments because I've
Yeah.
been fairly happy this year with my purchases. But as far as third party, he's all the way over there, and I'm not going to get up and get him. But number 5 on my top 5 third party is Thomas, which I do have. Fans Toys Thomas.
5.
Excellent figure. The early complaints about him were kind of few and far between, and didn't bother me any with the backside of him and everything. But that's fine. His transformation is surprisingly simple and fun for a Fans Toys figure, and he's awesome. So he's number 5. Number 4 is my new age Soundwave, because god damn, I love this thing. He looks good. He's got die cast pieces in it. The magnet Laserbeak does it for me. It's my preferred Soundwave of the 2 that came out.
Yeah, you're not going to get ab articulation on that, or you're not going to get ab articulation like that on any official Soundwave for sure.
Look at that epic hip thrust. I mean, he wants you to press all his buttons, and they're right there, ready to go. So he's number 4.
Hook you up with a repro label, though.
Oh, I've got him. I'm also lazy. Number, what was that? 4, 5, 4. So this is 3. Number 3 here is Beachcomber. This is the highest rated Fans Toys on my top list. I love this thing. I don't know what Henry's talking about. He is clearly high on his own kibble. This thing is amazing. The mere fact that this thing has a full roll cage, full roll bar in dune buggy mode, and it is gone on the robot mode, really does it for me. He's so clean. His articulation is Fans Toys typical, but with ab crunch that totally fucking counts, and everything else on it, and ankle tilt. Like it's good. And yes, I have the silver on the shins. Get over it. I think it looks more interesting. But he does have the Reaper label, so at least I wasn't lazy there.
There you go.
And I'm going to get a pair of small birds to put on him one day when I go back out. But yeah, the heft of this figure is crazy compared to others. But I digress. So he's there. Number 2 is very nicey. She is definitely on the list. Deco, all the things that T just said. I'm not going to beat a dead horse on this, but there she is. She is definitely on my list of top figures. My top overall third-party figure is also my top figure of the year. Spoilers. Is this guy is my top figure of the year. This is the Studio One Cell, and I can't believe a figure like this exists, and that I own it, and that it looks so good in both modes.
I can't
love
believe
it.
you got him in planet mode.
Show us the robot mode.
So I did time it. The last time I transformed, it took me 58 minutes and a lot of sweat. So
I want a montage of with set to push it to the limit.
But I did do it though, and I went slow and methodical because I didn't want to screw it up. And if I go like that, and oh yeah, good. The batteries still function. Yay!
Better.
I haven't been planet mode because I think the planet mode with the add-on piece on the front is amazing, and the spot that I have in my collection for it lends itself to being in planet mode. So this is how he stays, believe it or not. Where I'm sure 90% of the people that own him probably do have it in robot mode, but not me because I'm the weird one. Special consideration this year of my sort of runner up is this guy. I don't mess with this guy as much as I should, and he is awesome. I waited years for this thing to come out, and now that he's out, There is nothing bad about this Sideswipe. I love it. It just was edged out by so many good third-party figures this year. That's the problem. And again, it's a good problem to have that there's so many good figures that came out. So there's my top 5 plus one honorable mention for third-party.
I'll put him on my special consideration.
And just the cutest little Ravage. Cutest little Ravage.
Oh, and I want to add my little New Age Rumble and Ravage for special considerations.
So that's me. Let's see what Jordan has to say about his top 5 Transformer third-party figures.
All right. So, well, first I'm going to kick it off with my two disappointments, and the first one, much like with T, is the fans. I love Fans Hobby, but this figure, I don't hate it, but I hated the fact that I had to put on stickers, and I hated the fact that it there goes her gun. Much like T said, he's very right. She doesn't hold her weapons very well. She looks good. She looks the part. She's not fun to mess with, and I think that's one of the biggest problems. This is why she was so disappointing for me, is that Fans Hobby is a company where I can beat up their toys, right? They're meant to be masterpiece scale and fit in with your masterpiece figures, but this figure, unlike their others, she does not have the playability. She is not toleranced very well, and it's a crying shame, because there's elements of greatness in here, but the execution just took her down to the bottom of my list, and that one hurts, because I was really looking forward to this figure. Again, looks great on my shelf, but it's not one that I enjoy picking up or messing with. And every time I see her, I'm like, yeah, putting all those stickers on this was a pain in the fucking ass. Especially, they could have tampoed all that on. Like, there's tampo work on here. So, like, I get it. Like, the Red Cross, they don't like it, but they included Red Cross stickers. It just, they're at the end of the day, this could have been executed so much better. Can't complain about the cost. She was very cheap. I got mine through Nate's Toys and Collectibles. I think she was like a little bit over $50, but yeah, not a recommended figure. Don't hate her, but not a recommended figure. The next figure I was really excited about, because I was on a bit of a T-Beast high. And this company actually had a good reputation. Transform Element, everybody loves their Optimus Prime. Was it Freedom Leader? And they had this Bumblebee come out. And I've never seen so many QC issues on a figure. Also, this figure is one of the reasons I'm not going to do any more business with the Chosen Prime. My figure has 2 left feet, so he can't stand properly. He can't stand in an A stance. He has to stand straight up. The 2 thruster pieces are both for the left hand, so he can't actually hold them as fist blasters. When I tried to make the hammer, the plastic here marred, so the blaster pieces won't stay in. There's just numerous paint errors all over mine, and paint rub, and the tolerances are horrible. Again, kind of like with Athena, there's like elements of greatness in here, but and this figure is really cheap too. I think he was like $50, but it sucks to get a figure like this, and then the store you buy it from isn't even willing to fix the problem. And this was like the first time I absolutely was like, because I messaged the Chosen Prime, and I was like, look, hey, I have this figure. He has 2 left feet. He can't even stand right. Is there any way I could just like exchange him out? Now, like Agabus, TF Source, anytime I've ever had an issue with the figure, they've been like, dude, we're really sorry you had these problems. We'll get it straightened up for you right away. The response I got from Chosen Prime is, yeah, a lot of people are having problems with this figure, and mine has problems too. So, sorry.
He seemed like he was Omni-Gomnics bad, like he was gone. And
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, and you get what you pay for with this figure. To be honest, I've been trying to find somebody that has 2 right feet. Maybe I can at least just get the leg, swap a leg. But he's just kind of stood in the display case, and that's been kind of it. But yeah, the QC problems on this figure are just through the roof. And when I was going through and looking for like, what was my worst or most disappointing third party figure, and it was few and far between. The other one actually would have been a Transform Element figure, and it would have been the Transform Element movie Bumblebee from the Bumblebee movie. But that figure it's just disappointing in the sense that it's not fun to transform. Like everything else on it's fine. It has limited articulation. It's not fun to transform. But this figure and Athena, they've got major flaws. So I think I chose wisely. But otherwise, it's been an awesome year for third-party figures. I had to pick 5, but I'm going to have some honorable mentions real quick. Studio Cell Unicron is a great figure. And, I think Matt said everything I could have said about it. It has a lot of presence. I keep mine in robot mode, and when the HasLab one drops, that's going to be in planet mode. So I'm really looking forward to that display happening in 2021. I can't believe hopefully we start hearing about Unicrons coming out soon.
Yeah, when do they release?
They said early 2021. So,
okay, good.
Hopefully the pandemic hasn't pushed him back, and hopefully we start seeing him around like somewhere between February and May. I'm going to guess probably April is when a lot of people are going to get them.
Nick says hopes up thinking it's January. I'm like, come on.
Nah. You gotta think early under like Hasbro logic. Nicey. I really, really, really wanted to put her in my list, but the other figures just beat her out. I love that figure. I'm gonna go through my list in just a second here, and you can agree or disagree with me, but these are just all my preferences. Nicey is such a good figure. If you can get your hands on her, do it. If this was the top 10 list, she would definitely be on there. And my other honorable mention is the Vexo Promenon, the TFCon, the virtual TFCon exclusive. That's the Aero Alpha in the Batman deco. It's really hard to like put a repaint on there, but he's such a good repaint. It's like I've struggled with it. I had him in my hand for a good solid minute before putting him down. I should have made this a top 10 list. But my final honorable mention is the G Creations Wraith, which it's not movie masterpiece scale, but it's close, and it's their take on the Age of Extinction Grimlock. That figure is just amazing. It's fun to transform. It's big. It's got presence. It comes with that little Optimus Prime that sits on the back. Love that figure to death. And without further ado, let me get into my top 5. We're going to start off with my number 5, and that is Red Bull. And this is like where it really pained me, because I like Nicey, but this third party figure, I think I've transformed more than any third party figure in probably the 6 or 7 years I've been collecting third party. I just love this figure. He feels really good. All the joints feel really good. He has all the articulation you could possibly want. I think the sculpt is good. I think they elevated Sideswipe to something I didn't think Sideswipe could be elevated to. This highly articulated, real, and nothing against Sideswipe. He's just not one of my favorite Transformers. And this figure really gave me an appreciation for Sideswipe. I love the Bull mode. I think the Bull mode it does a lot. It's still just as articulated as the robot. It's a lot of fun. You get a Minotaur mode and a tank mode. This is a figure that that will probably live on my desk for the next few days, because in doing my top 5 list, I've rediscovered it. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm looking forward to playing with this guy again. Next up, my number 4, and this is also kind of an honorable mention, but this figure out of the team I like the best. This is the MMC Probus. MMC had an amazing year. I keep so I have my Zeta Bruticus in combined mode, and the MMC robots are my Combaticon team. And their take on Brawl is just so good. This figure does everything you could possibly want it to do. Ab crunch, double jointed elbows. Yeah, I can see like T. I know you complained about him being a little bit chuggish, but for me, I
like him.
I think he's probably he and Swindle are probably a lot of people's favorites. I think he fits like the Toon aesthetic really well, and I love how simple but effective his transformation is. Like, you can transform this guy in a couple minutes. And yet he doesn't feel hollow. He doesn't feel cheap. I just think the engineering on him is really awesome, and that's where he shines. Definitely a figure that I really like picking up off the shelf. I mean, like I said, their Bruticus is an honorable mention for me. Not the scale I'd want, but I think as a set, it's very cohesive and fun to transform. My number 3 is the New Age Mista, which is New Age's freshman take. Well, I don't know. Has New Age done any? Is this their first?
Yeah, I think that's their first. Yeah.
Yes, non-legend scale figure. Yes,
yeah. I love this figure. I think he really captures the aesthetic of a movie masterpiece, albeit he's better painted than most movie masterpieces. For a lot of people complained early on that he was complicated, but the thing I liked about the transformation is everything really only has one way of moving. And I think it was even funny that they just straight up didn't even care about, not hiding the emblem for the car.
The concern about the transformation, I think, if definitely if you're watching reviews, it's complicated to show on camera.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Like saying, if you have a bunch of time and you're not like trying to hurry up and do it within like 23 minutes, it's okay.
And having flipped him back and forth a few times, like his tolerances haven't changed. I think he's really well made. The materials on here are real quality, in my opinion. I got the deluxe version, which came with both Laserbeak and Ravage, and they don't transform, but hey, they didn't really. Well, Laserbeak transformed into a ton of shit in the movie. Ravage did not, and they look really good as a set. My number 2 is a tie, and again, like I was saying, this is an MMC heavy year for me. This is MMC's Tortor and their Moors, so their Thesaurus and their Helix. These figures were kind of released close together. They're kind of in the same size class, and they're the last 2 pieces of the MMC DJD.
5-year journey.
Yeah, an over 5-year journey. I think it was April of 2015 when their Voss first came out.
And then their 2 biggest figures release a month apart.
Yeah, and neither of these disappointed me. I know for some, with Moors, people were not happy about the limited ankle articulation. Tortor's ankles are a little bit in the same realm. They're more articulated. I also like the fact that they gave him articulated hips, so you can cheese it even more. But these guys are so much fun. They feel really sturdy. They have presence. Kind of like what I was talking about with the Probus figure. Yeah, these are meant to be in line with Chug, but they don't. And even like with Scorponok, these look like high-end collectibles, but they also play like toys, and that's what makes them really fun and awesome. And then being able to complete the DJD set, it's amazing to finally have them all. And these definitely were guys that even despite being this big, I really enjoyed messing around with. Their transformations are very simple. I mean, they transform into like Cybertronian armored vehicles. So they're kind of interpretive, but the playability is there, especially with Tortor. And he's got like 4 sets of moving blades in his chest, and these arms are completely articulated. Can't recommend them enough. If you're just wanting to collect the DJD, or if you don't have them already and you want to start collecting them, start with those 2, and then work your way down. Get your Tarn. MMC's always reissuing them. I think they're on like reissue number 6 of Voss, and every time they do, they make little tweaks. So, good place to start. My number 1 third-party figure of 2020 is my Unique Toys Dragoon. And I hate this movie. I really hate this movie, but I love this figure. I think JX, what was it? JX Wing Dragon was my favorite figure of 2019, and a Megatron. Here we have another Megatron. This figure just has so much presence. Unique Toys, I am going to miss you dearly. I hope that the Galvatron is obtainable, because I really want that figure. Again, another movie I hate, but the black magic in this design, like this is a very straightforward transformation. The figure looks great. He's got great articulation. I love the head gimmick. I love how the head transforms. You move those tusks and actually flip the head up and around, and I think this is just such a cool figure. And whether you liked DX9 or Unique Toys, there's a lot to be said about their engineers and how effective they were, and creating really, especially with Unique Toys, they were able to create standout pieces for their movie masterpiece lines. I know a lot of people really love the Age of Extinction Optimus they did, and these 2 really looked good together. So I'm gonna miss Unique Toys, and shout out to them for making such an awesome figure this year. All right, so I guess we can now move into our non-transforming figures. I guess we'll start out with Matt. I know you've already got your. Well, actually, wait. Should we get a T? We'll get a T.
Let's keep the cycle going.
Keep the cycle going. T. What are your top? Well, actually, do you have any honorable mentions for your disappointing figures? All right.
Disappointing. I'm going to mention the same Batman that Matt brought up, but I'm going to add the Mafex Batman. Hush. I'm going to add the cape is huge and a mess. But if they would have put more bendy wire in there, like they have the bendy wire in the right place on the outside, but if they would have attached it to his neck and the other 2 pieces and put a middle piece, the cape could have been better than it is. But
Agreed.
I still like that figure, but that disappointed me. And then most of my that I get off the top of my head. The Figma Deku wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. And most of the DC Multiverse McFarlane figures, a lot of them had things that I desired that they didn't have, like optional hands and whatnot that would have made them better, and their ab crunches and whatnot. But honorable mentions as far, most of this list is just retail stuff. I'll probably just do a more high-end list on my channel, maybe. But I'm still
committed now. On record.
Spoiler: all mine's retail.
I'm gonna put in the honorable mentions these 3 things right here. The Spawn is really good. Like I mentioned, this thing is really good, but I just got it. And I really like this Rita. Rita is way better than I expected her to be.
Shouldn't feel like a retail figure, that's for sure.
Yeah, they put a lot of extra effort into her with the face and the outfit. Like I did not expect her to be as extensive and detailed. But she's really good. You can see my review for that. But these are things that I messed with a lot and didn't put down even if I didn't review this guy. But the Rider's Punisher, I just love his accessories. And definitely this bike. I love the bat was the main thing that really took me over the edge because I don't have a regular bat for anybody. But then he comes with like 3 different guns. The motorcycle looks good. A secondary head sculpt and this crazy helmet right here, which is super metal or Viking-y. Come on. I don't know what this thing wants to focus on.
He's like the Skyrim Punisher.
But that's cool. This is something I barely ever put down. All of the Lightning collection is good, but this Blaze right here is really, really good. Like the face sculpt is amazing. I think that's what puts me over the edge. I like the design of his outfit. I like his weapon. And I took his sword effect and put it on his arm. I don't think he ever did this on the show. But the face, which you're not going to be able to see because it's not focusing on him. The face is amazing. It almost looks like Hot Toys quality if they actually hand painted it and it wasn't digital paint. But for digital paint, the face looks amazing. Let's see. Something else I haven't been able to put down is this DC Multiverse Joker, which is awesome. And it's probably the best posable McFarlane DC Multiverse figure they've made. Like, I definitely love his innovative ab articulation where it's just pliable.
Oh, that
plastic.
sounds awful.
It sounds like a chiropractor video.
But it actually
the Space Ghost Rider was a really good one too. I agree.
Oh yeah, I do like that.
Cosmic Ghost Rider.
That was my favorite rider until I got the regular Punisher. But I think this came with what it needed to come with. A gestury hand instead of a gun holding hand for no reason. And a gun. And I like the face sculpt, which you can never get right on camera. You have to have the perfect lighting. This Venom pool looks freaking amazing and it's heavy. I thought it was awesome that you only had to buy 5 figures to get them. And most of those figures were good anyway. I didn't have a problem. I didn't feel ripped off that I got those figures. I like most of them. But the amount of detail and how huge it is and heavy, and he actually has interchangeable hands outside of these hands and weapons. Like a lot of build figures, you just get the figure and that's it. Like Hulk, you do get a second hand. No, wait, do you get a second hand with Hulk? I think
Depends on Hulk.
The Smart Hulk.
Oh, Joe Fix It?
No, the Endgame Hulk.
Oh, Professor Hulk. Yeah, he got 2 heads.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, he had a neutral face and a smiling face. But 2 swords and 2 sword holding hands and regular, like claws, is better than that to me. Plus, this holster right here is really substantial. And he has these things around the ankles and wrists, and all 4 of them are differently molded. I thought that was just a step above. And he does have this pouch. But I'm gonna end it with a tie, sort of like you did. I can't decide on which one of these I like the most. Both of these figures are the definition of what I wanted with these new G.I. Joes. Like, they come with so many accessories in there. They're so, like, dynamically posable, and they look good no matter what you do, what type of pose you put them in. And the Cobra Troopers just has so many options with the removable goggles, the removable helmet. He has 4 freaking guns. Snake Eyes, this is the deluxe version. He came with a literal rack of accessories. So he is, I guess Snake Eyes will be the ultimate winner because he's the definition of what you would
I saw
want.
they reissued him the other day. Like, he was available on Hasbro Pulse for regular.
They did, third time.
Yeah.
Second time they reissued him. Third time he's available.
Yeah,
I hope everybody that was complaining actually got it.
I didn't. I saw like an hour after it happened, and my ass got the Hasbro Pulse real fast because he's literally the only classified series figure I don't own.
Yeah, my Regal shipped, so I will have all of the initial run.
I don't have Regal.
But Lord knows when. Well, no, that shipped FedEx, so I'm gonna get that before the end of the year. Unlike some of my USPS stuff. But
Yeah,
that's all I'm gonna talk about.
all right. Well, moving on, Matt. How about you?
All right. So one honorable mention that didn't make the top 5 is this partially modified Black Series Mandalorian. This is the Beskar version with a custom Rebel 10 Customs cape. He's actually my favorite Black Series figure right now, but because it's a custom cape and some stuff on it, that I'm not going to count it because the cape that comes with it is utter garbage. But as he stands now, it's one of my favorite figures with the
Are
extra
those blast effects on the jetpack?
There are. Yeah, it's the blast effects that come with the New Age Seekers. They fit right inside the same board. No modification necessary. So that's an honorable mention. As far as Black Series figures, so number 5 on my list of just regular old figures is the Armorer, actually. I sat down and looked at all of my Black Series all my figures here in the basement, and this one pops out to me. This is the special edition, Hasbro Pulse exclusive version with the extra accessories and the soft goods backside. This figure is just kind of fucking breathtaking with the accessories that she comes with. It's kind of unreal. Of course, it's not a whole lot of articulation. There's not a whole lot to it, but the detail, the different materials used, the different finishes, the colors, it's spot on, man. Like, this is one of my favorite Black Series figures. So that is, what was that, number 5, right? Number 4 is going to go to I've discovered Beast Box more this year, so I'm going to count. I guess this technically could go on third-party transforming figures, but I'm going to put this in just my general figures category.
That counts here.
This is the Beast Box Echo Blaster. The bird mold is all the Beast Boxes that I've owned have been really good, worth the money. They're on the cheaper side, air quotes, and as a desk toy, it's a lot of fun. So Beast Box Echo Blaster is number whatever I'm up for.
4.
Then 3.
Buy a Beast Box.
3 is I mentioned earlier, and T's already talked about him. Feeling bad about mentioning figures that are hard to get. This is on my list. I can't deny that this is, for $20, one of the best deals in all of retail currently. And this is obviously the G.I. Joe Target exclusive Cobra Island Cobra Trooper. The amount of accessories, T just went on about him, so I won't, but the amount of accessories that come with them and the amount of stuff you can do with them makes him worth every penny. And I really, really wish that more people were able to get this version.
Agreed.
I really do. I think it's pissy how bad we've talked about it. I won't go in any more detail about it, but I wish more people could have bought him. Not the gun.
They might re-release that.
They better.
They're releasing the standard version, but with half the accessories. So I don't know if I count that. So number 2 is this going to be back-to-back like-for-like figures. Number 2 is my amazing Yamaguchi Izuku Midoriya. The amount of accessories, the playability of the accessories, and the articulation. I, like Mr. T-Man here, am an articulation junkie. And these guys fill the bill. And the expression and the accessories they come with, it's just this thing. I think I told you guys last show, or maybe even privately, that my wife even commented that she's not seen me mess with an action figure as much as I mess with this guy. Just sitting at the kitchen table posing and taking pictures.
And
he's a lot of
boobs.
What's that?
And he doesn't even have boobs.
So the armor has boobs, presumably. And then Nicey had boobs, but besides that, there's no other. They're all boobless figures.
What about the Major?
Well, that was last year. I got her last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my pictures from earlier were for the motorcycle, not the Major.
Oh, okay.
So
that doesn't even look like a Revoltech.
It looks like a statue, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Looks like a statue. And this, I know people kind of feel a certain way about Revoltech figures. I am, for this guy and the next guy I'm about to mention, I am more than willing. The positives well outweigh the negatives. So this is my number 2. And then as I've alluded to, my number 1 figure is here.
Smash!
God damn, I love this thing. And I know he's gappy in some points. And I know that there's some people don't like the way he bends in some places, like these weird knee bump outs that Revoltech seems to do. I don't care. I love this thing. Look, shout it out. He loves me. Definitely one of my top figures of the year, and number 1 on my list of what is this, non-transforming, non-third party, just regular release figures. I love this guy. So those are my top 5 plus an honorable mention of the year. Like Jordan said, it's been a shitty year, but it's been a pretty damn good year for toys and releases.
Oh yeah.
If you can get a hold of them. So that's me. Jordan, hit us with what you got.
All right. So I guess I'll start off with my my most disappointing. And I feel bad with these because they're both figures that were kind of hard to get. Starting off with this one, April O'Neil. This is the NECA April O'Neil from the toy from the Toon Turtles line, and look, she's not the worst figure ever. It's rare that you get a female figure with double jointed elbows, but as much as detail oriented as NECA traditionally is, this face sculpt does not in any way, shape, or form resemble April from the cartoon. This is just bad. This is really bad. I'm not sure.
This is disappointing, right?
Yeah, this is disappointing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So there's some good detail work on her. I like the panel lining they did on her jumpsuit. I like the shading they did on the jumpsuit, but just the face, and then some of the body proportions. Like, I don't remember April being like that. Like, I don't remember her having like that much of an hourglass shape. Like, I remember April having like more, or having like such childbearing hips. I really don't know what's going on with this April. The Casey Jones that comes in the 2-pack is phenomenal. He looks just like Casey did on the cartoon. Like, I pulled up pictures for the cartoon when I got the set, and I was like, wow, they really got Casey. But like, this April, just ugh. And
I think
also,
her body is right. It's just her head is like Super Mario.
Yeah, and also NECA, stop with the lines on the body. You really made it look like she has an Adam's apple. You could have done some more subtle shading. Like, yeah, just I'm glad to have a representation of April, but I just wish it was better. Next up, and I love the Classified series. I really do. But this figure, an honorable mention would have been the Cobra Commander, because the Cobra Commander obviously was a figure that probably was the first one they designed. He doesn't have like the other design elements classified that the rest of the classified series have. Like the ab crunch on him is really weird. He's got weird elbows and knees. Snake Eyes is a phenomenal figure, and when we got the Arctic Storm Shadow, I thought, okay, well, he's going to be a preview figure. He's going to be this new deco, but he's disappointing to me because he's lacking the articulation that the others have. Like he doesn't have ankle cut, and it really, like, it's funny. Like the boot cut typically isn't something that you really think you need on a figure until you get a ninja, and then you can't get that ninja in the dynamic poses you want. Like I can get my Snake Eyes in some really dynamic poses where he's hunched over and he's got his feet contorted in like realistic ways. But like the only way to get this Storm Shadow to work is to kind of have him in some static stoic poses. The other thing I don't like too is that he came with like some unnecessary accessories. They didn't paint his arrow. Like I can't really say his accessories are unnecessary. It's just like he really has nowhere to store them, like the grappling hook and the sickle weapon. Just compared to the rest of Black Series, I mean not Black Series, Classified, even Cobra Commander. Like, Cobra Commander can get away with his limited articulation and his weird knees and elbows just for the fact that he just needs to kind of sit and look imposing and point at stuff. That's all Cobra Commander needs to do. But when you have a ninja character, he needs to be able to do ninja stuff. And when he can't, that ruins it. And I hope that the regular Classified Storm Shadow has the same body as like the Red Ninja or Snake Eyes. T-Fan page 101. Wait, you like toys? I love toys. I'm going to get into some toys that I really love this year. We're going to start off with my number 5. So I'm going to give NECA some slack. Honorable mention first out of the way is the two NECA figures, one NECA set. The Coming Out of Our Shells tour turtles, I love them. They are a great representation of like a part of my childhood. I love the fact that they exist. I love how corny they are and how well they capture the source material. Also, the NECA Metalhead. I'm glad to own that figure. Again, special shout out to No Effort Randomness for getting that over to me. But this one, my number 5, this is a figure that I waited years and years and years to have a good representation for. And yeah, in Secret of the Ooze, we'll just say it, like, Super Shredder is a fucking bitch. He becomes Super Shredder and he kills himself. He knocks all the pillars down on the pier and dies. But when I was a little kid and you saw Super Shredder, you're like, man, I really want a Super Shredder toy. And the Super Shredder toy that we got from Playmates was really dumb looking. Like, they didn't paint him right, and he was like squat and tiny. He wasn't giant, and I love the fact that NECA made this giant ass figure with a bunch of hand options. He's got like the cracked out eyeballs. The sculpting on him is amazing, and next to the turtles, he looks super, super imposing. So I've got him on my display, and he's like lurching out over the turtles. So really, and I love this cape that they did on him too. Like, the cape on the regular Shredder is awesome, but like this one, this is some of the best soft goods I've seen on a regular retail figure. So
I'm so salty about that.
yeah, I wish you could have got, but at least you can check out Joe's.
I'll check out Joe's, and then
and after I get through this, we're gonna read Joe's top figures because he did provide those to us. My number 4 is actually Jazzware's Warthog. So this figure looks expensive. It feels expensive, but if you get it at Walmart, it's $25. This is probably the best value of any figure that I've purchased in the last 5 years. We've got rubber tires. We've got a painted interior. Like, the turret on the back of the Warthog is articulated. The ammo belt is a separate rubber piece. There's paint all over this. The antenna is another piece. The gas cans are actually removable and painted. Not only that, when I saw this, I was like, well, there's got to be a catch, right? There's got like the Master Chief it comes with. It has to be different somehow than the $10 Master Chief. It's the same figure, and it comes with an assault rifle. So you're getting a $10 figure, and then if you get this at Walmart or Target, it's 30. At Walmart, it's 25. If you get this at Walmart, this whole Warthog, and this isn't hollow, cheap plastic. This is really sturdy, durable plastic. Like you give this to a kid, they can whirl it around. The materials of this are nice. Like this is actually a transparent windshield. They didn't cheap out or skimp out on any of the paint. There's some assembly required, but like the bulk of this is like screwed together. This is an awesome toy. If you're a Halo fan or you've got a Halo fan in your life, this is an awesome on the cheap Christmas gift or holiday gift, depending on what they celebrate. They're going to think that you spent a lot on it. This is an awesome value, and you can get the other Halo figures. They can actually man the turret. You can have a co-pilot. You can have someone in the passenger seat. This is a really awesome toy.
Good
not
luck
only
finding that.
Oh, they're all over the place here. If you need one, I can get one for you.
Nah.
I almost got you that for Christmas, to be honest.
I
Seriously.
love free, but
I know you love free stuff, but my number 3 is the McFarlane Mortal Kombat Spawn. Now, I did participate in the Kickstarter, and I'm a bit wary about what we're going to get there, but when I got this figure, I really questioned why I even did the Kickstarter. This is a really good Spawn. I'd argue this is the best, most articulated Spawn that we've ever got. I really like this figure. I think this is probably. I have a couple of the DC Multiverse figures. I've got the the Murder Machine Batman, and I've got the Hell Knight Batman. I've messed with a bunch of the DC figures, but like this figure just tops. It's a good Spawn. It's well painted, well detailed, good articulation, feels nice, and I'm glad I got him because I'm probably going to flip the Kickstarter Spawn when he comes out, just because I'm not really digging what I'm seeing there, and this will make for just a really good Spawn on your shelf if you want one. $20 is a great price for this thing too. My number 2 is from the 2-pack is the Fox Deadpool. I love this figure. He comes with perfect accessories. He's stupidly posable. I love the fact that he's got the pinless arms. I wish he had pinless legs. If he had pinless legs, he might be my number 1. I wish he had the G.I. Joe articulation too. But just this figure's so expressive. Like I've got him on the shelf with the little unicorn. And like seriously, like when you get this figure, if you didn't know any better, like the way he photographs, he looks like a much more expensive figure. He looks like a Figuarts or a Figma figure. You can get him into so many poses. I wish he had ankle cut, but again, this is just like another figure where I'm stupidly glad to have him, and he does basically everything you want. The detail on him's amazing. Check out T-Man's video because he mods the guns on the hips. You can actually cut these and they come out. I've seen them in person and they look really good. I haven't modded mine. But yeah, I can't recommend this enough if you can still. And I think the 2-pack's still pretty readily available on Amazon. My number 1 is a tie, and that is the G.I. Joe Classified Red Ninja and the Cobra Trooper. Both of these are perfect action figures. Absolutely perfect action figures. And I'm a guy that collects Storm, Figuarts. There's no Storm or Figuarts on this list. I had to put the Storm Raiden almost made my list, but I put it back. I almost put the Baroness on this list too, but she's great. She would have been in my top 10. But these guys both have very similar articulation. They've got the neck joints. They've got like the Cobra Trooper just is an absolutely perfect action figure, hands down, with his options. The Red Ninja is right there with him because of all the weapon options. He basically comes with the weapon rack that the exclusive exclusive Snake Eyes has, but it's all integrated. He can store everything. Both of these figures can store all their weapons on them, and that's just absolutely amazing. And then the articulation's insane on these guys. I love the fact that the Red Ninja, both of his hands are, they have the up and down up and down wrist articulation, which is amazing for a sword wielding character. All the weapons look great on him. It's really hard to pick which weapons you want to have him displayed with. I actually have a second Red Ninja inbound from my pile of loot with BBTS, and I'm curious. I'm not curious, but I'm just trying to debate on how I want to have him pose, whether I want to have him with the swords or the sickles. I love the way this guy looks with the axes. I really, as Matt was saying, I really wish this guy could have gotten into more people's hands. And ideally, I would have liked to have had a few of them. I have 2 of the regular ones on pre-order, and I guess my justification with them will be that this guy will be the lead, and then the other 2 will be the kind of the regular Cobra Troopers. Hopefully I can get a couple of Vipers as well when they come out. Hasbro did not make it easy to get those, and that's what really sucks, is that these are my number ones. I mean, you can get the Red Ninja on BBTS, so I highly recommend right now going on Big Bad Toy Store and getting this guy if you can't find him anywhere. You will not regret it. Get a couple of them while you're at it. But it bums me out so much that this version of the figure, with all the weapons and all the accessories and all the options, most people aren't going to be able to get. So that's my list, and I guess we should see what Joe Crab has on his.
I have his list right here. And Joe wanted us to tell you all that his top 5 figures are Earthrise Optimus Prime, Red Bull, the third part. He just went top 5 altogether. So Earthrise Optimus Prime, and then what is that, Red Bull? Is that right? G Creations Red Bull, Storm Doomsday, Storm Collectibles, and his top 5 includes the Mafex Hush Batman. So 2, 3, and he also mentions the Imagination Works Goku. Honorable mention goes to his Master Chief, the retail version that came out.
So we got a few mentions for folks' favorites in the chats here. Nightwing says, greatest for the year, 2 likes, Eagle Moss Star Trek ships and Lightning Collection. Brad Harper says, the Walgreens Blue Streak really struck me as a favorite Transformer this year. Loved the mold, and after getting Smokescreen, but loved it more the second time around. I agree. I think the Blue Streak's really good. Sportimus says that these are his regular retail: Earthrise Blue Streak / Smokescreen, Skywarp Thundercracker 2-pack, Earthrise Prime, Skylynx, and Scorponok. That's a great list. Then he also says for third party, Dune Runner, KFC Gunker. I wish I had got those bike bots. Sheridan, Red Bull, and Thomas, and the runner-up is Magic Square Soundwave. And Jonathan Walker, I did not get any of the Kang toys.
No, me neither.
I'm kind of waiting. Like with any of the Zeta aligned companies, I'm just waiting for them to finish them and put out the box set. Because like I remember like the Zeta Bruticus, like when they released it as a box set, it was like below 300, and that was like post pandemic. I guess we can round it out with are there any particular figures you guys are excited for, actually, let's just say, what is your most anticipated figure in 2021? And chat, feel free to chime in if you've got a figure you're really anticipating in 2021. I guess to go back to my list real quick before we do that, Fans Toys Thomas is a figure that I hopefully am going to be getting. Nate's Toys and Collectibles has mine, or should be getting mine. I should be getting it before the end of the year. I really wanted to add that. I'm kind of bummed that those Fans Toys mini bots did not make my list, but as we've said, so much good stuff came out this year. But Matt, we'll keep the cycle going. T, what's your most anticipated figure for 2021?
It was supposed to be out in like June or May.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
Miles Morales.
Yep.
I hope that comes. It's scheduled for the beginning of January, and in fact, they pushed it up 2 or 3 days. But I'm scared when January comes, it's going to be February. But I'm supposed to get that, Hush, Catwoman, and MPRC at the same time. So I'm like, this is going to be expensive right at my daughter's birthday is the beginning of the month. Oh boy. But those three in Limbo World, which I hope is before 2021, I'm getting that reissue of the X-Transbot Scourge from Nate's Toys and Collectibles.
Oh, nice.
Nice. The shiny one?
Yeah, and my red ninjas, which aren't on the list. They're in Limbo Land with a USPS in transit.
So I'm going to go here with Brad Harper actually mentioned something interesting that they heavily rumored Titans class arc from Kingdom. I'll have that as an honorable mention on this because that's a Titans class figure. As long as they don't do anything that pisses me off in the design, they have to convince me not to buy that. So that's definitely going to be on my list. And my first Titans class retail Transformer, if it ends up being a decent looking figure. So I am sort of as far as Limbo goes, I should be hearing from or getting shipping notices of the reissue of the Fans Toys Phoenix. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully before the end of the year. But as far as strictly next year type of things, there's a ton of Black Series figures coming out that I'm looking forward to. So I'm just going to say Black Series as a line is probably the series I'm most anticipating. After that is the amazing Yamaguchi Bakugo. Looks fantastic. Looks like kinetic motion in plastic. So that one is one of my most anticipated. My number one most anticipated figures, and I'm really excited for this and really scared of it all at the same time, is I will be getting my first Hot Toys figure next year. The Hot Toys in October will be releasing Ahsoka Tano, and I am in on her. That is my most anticipated figure. I'm looking forward to her a lot, and scared to death of it. So we'll see how it goes.
You'll be fine.
I'm not worried for me. I'm worried for her. So that's really where I'm at. So a lot of good figures. This is what worries me is like, hey, there's all these figures that I'm anticipating right now. And that doesn't even include shit that we don't know about. So it's already probably going to be an expensive and interesting year.
I'd love to do a tally of how many figures Hasbro released this year. Like, I'd love to see if somebody had a running list between Black Series, Lightning Collection,
Plasma.
Plasma.
Classified, yeah.
Who knows if they're going to continue that Plasma line?
Like you said, even if they don't, you got your four Ghostbusters, so you should at least be happy with that. Yeah. So they did right by collectors there.
Yeah,
they had a rack of Generation Select and all those like 20th anniversary X-Men figures. There's so many Marvel Legends, is nuts.
Dude, if you went all in on Hasbro figures, NECA figures, and McFarlane figures, like your bank account is blown, man.
Right.
Man, there was no show. It seemed like every time something was releasing, they were announcing and showing off new figures, and then you blink and it seemed like the news said, hey, these new figures they just fucking talked about, someone found in California, like they're out. And then they just kept rolling like that.
Somebody stealth
They're all
dropped.
at Kevin's house right now.
And Kevin bought all of them. I mean, all of them.
Like we had the like Negative Zone Spider-Man that just wasn't even announced and just showed up in
Right.
stores.
It just popped up. If you
Yeah.
wanted black and white pizza, God damn it,
Yeah.
you had it. So, Jordan, how about you? How about your most anticipated?
You know, it's you know, people might think it's crazy, but the HasLab Unicron, I think,
That's
is
crazy.
my yeah.
No.
Well, hey, I know there's a lot of people that are critical about how it looks, but to be honest, I have so much fun with the Earthrise and Siege figures. I'm really hoping that, you know, when you get the HasLab Unicron in hand, it's going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, I enjoy the Studio Cell Unicron a lot. I think it has a lot of presence, but I'd also really enjoy having a big Unicron that I can just flip back and forth and play around with, you know, versus having the Unicron that just stands there and looks good doing, you know, in display. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm really looking forward to Kingdom as a line. I love seeing Beast Wars getting some love, and you know, I'm hopeful that, you know, those figures are going to be as good as what we've got, you know, with Earthrise and Siege. I have Rat Trap, I have Vertebrake, and I've got the little Optimus Prime already, the core class stuff, and I'm really enjoying those. And I'm also hoping that the Arc does come. I mean, we know the Arc's going to come. I mean, that's going to be a given. They're not going to not bring that thing out. And I'm looking forward to having like a little army of core class figures around that thing. And I think this is going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be a really awesome display piece. And one honorable mention is I'm really looking forward to, and this is a figure that almost made my third party list, but it's technically a KO. Is it Transcraft? Whoever made Skateboard Gorilla, I think it's Trans Arts. They're doing a Ravage, and I'm really looking forward to that Ravage because I never got the X9 Ravage from Beast Wars Metals. So I'm looking forward to having a Masterpiece scaled Season 2 Trans Metal Ravage to go with my collection. So we'll just say Unicron is my most anticipated figure, and then that Ravage is my honorable mention. But Kingdom's looking pretty good.
Did you pre-order Kingdom Cyclonus from GameStop?
Not from GameStop. Like I am focusing on Christmas right now. I need to finish my Christmas gifts, so I can't spend anything on me. I mean, I went through all those eBay sales, but that was to fund my TV and fund my PlayStation 5 and my, you know, I did some additional sales for so I made my TV, my Xbox, and my PlayStation work, but I got to finish every friends and family out. So I can't justify anymore. It's like when my pre-orders from Hasbro Pulse dropped, I was like, fuck, that was Christmas money.
You know what? I just realized I lied about DX9. I have this guy right here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Richtofen.
He's good.
You know, Winston says, hoping for some very cool Figuarts or Dragon Ball Z Figuarts. That Ginyu Force, I think, is really going to be sought after in 2021.
Who would have thought, too? Who would have thought those would have been figures coming out? They decided to start digging deep.
I think third party helps companies understand where demand is. I wish. What's that?
When does Piccolo come out?
He is out. The Proud Namekian, the new version.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's out.
So I should start scouring Barnes and Noble.
I'll check and get back with you, see if it's on their website.
Well, I think that'll do it. Let's see. Like I said, I'm going to have a video coming out in the next few days, probably by Wednesday, doing detailing giveaway details for a figure action hoodie, and maybe, just maybe, I'll throw in an additional figure for that. Nothing too big, but just to sweeten the deal. So that'll be a figure action hoodie just in time for the holidays.
I also think that after that, Joe is going to be setting up another giveaway. So no details on that yet, but keep your eyes peeled. When he gets back from into the show, he'll have some more information for you.
Good deal. Otherwise, I think this will be our last formal show for the year. Maybe we'll do something gaming related. I've been playing a lot of Cyberpunk. I've been wanting to talk about that. I know a lot of people. Did you
see the breaking news on that in the past 10 minutes?
Yeah, I did. They pulled it from the PlayStation Store.
Yep.
Wow.
Now, full disclosure, I'm playing it on the Xbox Series X, and I've had very minimal issues there. So if you happen to have an next-gen console, I would say pick it up on this. If you happen to have an Xbox and a PlayStation, or just the Xbox, get it on Xbox. You're going to have a fine time on there. I've only had one crash on there, and it's a mission where, no minor spoiler, you steal a tank. Again, there's no info there. You steal a tank, and I started shooting at like 20-something cars, and the game just bombed out. But otherwise, I've had
how it ran on PS5.
PS5 seems to have random crashes. So I love my PlayStation 5. I think the PlayStation 5 is the better of the two next-gen consoles. Personal preference here. But I've seen videos, like a YouTuber I follow, he's had crashes left and right on PlayStation 5. And I've watched some other YouTubers who've had them. Also on the Xbox, the crowd density is higher. So you walk into a street on PlayStation, you maybe see like 10 people, versus on Xbox, you see like 20 to 25. So Sportimus says, you didn't steal a tank, you just borrowed it. Technically, I did. I stole it from the military in the game. The game's a ton of fun. I think the thing is, like, a lot of people are giving the game a hard time and acting like it's like cardinal sin. But like, if I'm gonna step up on a little soapbox real quick. Bethesda, Ubisoft, EA, they release broken games all the time. I know CD Projekt Red was supposed to be different, but Assassin's Creed Unity, when that game came out, it was not playable. Fallout 76, when that game came out, it was not playable. And people were like, oh, Bethesda, oh, Ubisoft. But CD Projekt Red does it.
Mass Effect Andromeda.
Mass Effect Andromeda was a horrible piece of shit. Thank you. That was the EA example. It sucks that people on base consoles are having so many problems. It really sucks. It's not excusable. But I just think it's crazy that people are acting like, CD Projekt Red did something different here. And
I'll interject a second on that. And I don't want to get into run the show any later than it is. But it's not that the problem, I think, comes from the heartache, the fact that the systems they were announced for and then sold for were the current PS4, Xbox One.
Right.
I mean, for fuck's sake, the game was announced before the PlayStation 4 was even available for retail.
Yeah, 2012.
Yeah, so I think that's the heartache, is that the two systems that should have been their primary focus, given the development life cycle, were totally overlooked. Yeah. At least that's what it seems like during the release.
Right, and people made the excuse like, oh, well, they're developing for PC, PS4, Xbox, and
everybody, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's doing that.
Yeah.
And I guess I would rather they do 90% of the players in your player base are playing with current gen systems. So if you're releasing a game that's focused on PS5 and Xbox Series X, then you got to market it like that. Then this is strictly a next gen game. You need not apply, but they won't get the money that they would have gotten now that the game is gone gold.
I see two issues. The first issue is a 2-letter word, and that's WB Games. When you first boot up I didn't realize WB was associated with it. Like when I first booted up the game and I saw WB, I was like, because like WB has a history of wanting to get things out in time for the investors to be satisfied. That happened with Arkham Knight. Like Arkham Knight was fine on consoles, but on the PC it was a buggy, unplayable mess.
But I don't think anybody can accuse this game of being rushed. I mean, it's certainly stewed for a long time, and then it was delayed several times after they promised it wouldn't, which is fine. That doesn't bother me.
it's rushed in the sense that it's so ambitious. Like, so the bones of this game are amazing.
I agree. I'm with you on that.
So you're playing it, right?
I'm trying to.
Okay. Like, normal characters and interactions, like if you go into like a shop and have an interaction with somebody, it's like a mainline quest in a game. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It's so polished. Like when you're playing like an Ubisoft game, like a Far Cry or an Assassin's Creed, if you're not dealing with a main story character, you can tell because they look shitty and their animation's shitty.
Right.
But like when you're playing, like if you go to just like a Ripper Doc or somebody, like a side quest, everything's animated and the attention to detail and care, when it's the way it's supposed to look, it looks phenomenal. Like I was showing a buddy, I was like, this girl is just a receptionist in a side mission, and she looks like a main character in the other game. Yeah. And the mission variety, like my only complaint as far as the missions is fucking Regina Jones calls me every goddamn 10 seconds like, V, I got a quest for you. And I'm like, shut up, I'm in the gunfight. Here's a car you might be interested in buying. Bitch, please, I'm dying.
But still, like, don't want to totally sidebar this, but it's a thing. It's a thing that's out there right now, and it's interesting that they pulled it all together.
Yeah. And I think a year from now,
it won't be a thing.
Right, a year from now, everybody's gonna be like, the script's gonna flip. It's gonna be like No Man's Sky. Like No Man's Sky, I think everybody regards now as something amazing. Versus like this, it's like it's got good bones. It needs to be ironed out. I'm 27 hours into this game, and I don't normally like open world games. And to me, this, if I could have voted for a game of the year, I would have voted for this, even in its current state. Just because I recognize what's there, I'm digging the story. It's a rare game that, like, when I'm not playing it, I'm thinking about playing it.
And I think it will be that for a lot of people. Like, they like to throw out comparisons with The Witcher 3 that was a buggy mess when it first came out and is now hailed as one of the best games of the generation. So they'll get there. It's just, I think it's just with all the pomp and circumstance for its debut. And not only that, but what rubs me the wrong way is when your main game is so buggy, but then I hear that like Forza Horizon 4 has a Cyberpunk car special edition, and then Death Stranding has a motorcycle. I'm like, guys, this tertiary shit, get your game right, and then you can sprinkle all this other bullshit in all these other games.
I'll agree with you there. They definitely pump money into it, like Keanu, all of that, But
anyway,
maybe we'll do like a gaming episode before the year ends. But
maybe I got to put some more hours in on it.
Well, I mean, maybe we'll just talk about our 2020 was also a good year for games, so maybe this would be we could do a B-side on our favorite gaming experiences of 2020. But otherwise,
yes, you have.
T's finally gotten into Fortnite.
Yep. And T stands for teen, apparently. Teen Man 978.
I've beat Solo so many times.
But regardless, I mean, I know Fortnite has one of the biggest player bases in the world. But anyway, that's going to do it for our regular shows for this year. So don't expect a standard figure action show until, oh boy, because it's funny. The next two shows would have fallen on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, and no, that ain't happening for us. We may do B-sides. We may do some extra content. Be on the lookout for the giveaways. So
we may even decide to do an off-day episode. I don't know. We'll see. We'll announce it one way or the other.
But this could be our last show for the year. So ring that notification bell and check the Facebook page. Do want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year's, and thank you to everyone who tuned in. Thank you to everybody who tuned in throughout the year, and who all of our regulars in the chat. We love you guys, and wouldn't be here without you all. So
bring your friends.
Thank you for always coming in here every Thursday to listen to us.
Yep, you guys are awesome.
Seriously.
Well, anyway, that'll do it for tonight's episode. And yeah, we will see you all in the very near future. Take care and have a great night.
See you, everybody.